Hey guys, it's been a while since I made a general update of the car. I noticed that I haven't been driving for quite a while, and because since I moved here I didn't have to drive very frequently. And what else I noticed was there's been multiple software updates which I have not updated because I haven't had Wi-Fi and I haven't been in the car for me to see. But as you can see, I charge at home now. I hardly charge at the superchargers, public chargers. It does take quite long. We just went out for a bit and you see it's 2 hours and 5 minutes to charge for about 7%. I never use more than 10% on my regular trips these days, so it's not really a problem. But today what I'm going to do is I'm going to do an update, new software updates that we received to the past few months. I haven't updated for the past few months, so I know a few cool features have been released since the last time I updated. For example, I haven't updated since we had some of the cool things like average speed zone, trip progress, so it shows the color of the trip in the progress, speed camera chime. So I have spoken about speed cameras and autopilot in my previous video, but this is pretty cool because it actually chimes when there's a speed camera coming, which is awesome. And one really cool thing that they released since the last update that I've made was the hands-free trunk opening. So a few other cars, this is actually an option where you have to get as an addition to your car. So you would swipe your foot under the rear bumper or something, but this uses the ultra wideband on your phone and the camera, so it detects whether you're behind the trunk and it'll pop open the trunk. So we'll demonstrate some of the stuff in the video. I'm going to update the car and then I'm going to go out for a drive and show all the different things that's available. It also now has a Spotify queue and playback speed, and this is the biggest update that a lot of people have already gotten but I haven't yet. This is the V12 interface, and they've changed the look when your car is parked, which makes it a lot more modern, looks 2024. A lot of people have questioned what the usefulness of seeing such a big car is and a small map in the corner. But at the same time, you know, like, why is the big map showing when you're parked? So, no particular reason. It looks pretty cool. And there's all these new updates as well, including Autopark that has come in, which I'm really excited to try because I've got Enhanced Autopilot. I will let you guys know if that is worth it because I haven't been able to try this since I got my car. And finally, this is a big one, Autopilot suspension. They've read and listened to our feedback, because before, what would happen is your strikes would only reset after a week if you get struck out 5 times, which is problematic because there were so many times where I was struck out 4 times and then I'll get struck out on the 5th time, but then I needed the autopilot, but then I had to wait a week. But now what they've done is they reset your striking count every 7 days as long as you don't get a strike, which is pretty cool. So you don't need to wait until your 5th strike to get reset. So these are very cool. And then there's a few other improvements, you know, adaptive headlights improvements. I don't know what difference that has made since it got released. There's Beach Buggy Racing 2. I don't play this. I had some kids in the car the other day when our friends were visiting, and they really enjoyed the rear seats because they were actually fighting for who sat in the middle. Now, have you ever heard of that, where kids fight to sit in the middle seat because they could play Beach Buggy Racing? Very interesting. And hot weather improvements, so they've changed some stuff to regulate the battery temperature as well as cooling down the cabin faster with AC. And then recently they've had some minor fixes, so I don't know what that is. I don't use Audible, but Audible has been launched as well on Tesla. But yeah, so some of these are really cool. I'm really excited about the average speed zones because there's a few average speed zones that I don't know about, and it can show you what your average speed is at the moment, as well as the speed camera chime. The hands-free trunk is really cool. I think that's like a really cool feature that you get. I like referring to these things as like free features because in other cars you have to pay for them, right? So I think with Tesla, a lot of cool things come for free in a sense via OTA software updates. And obviously the Autopark. This isn't particularly free because I had to pay 3,800 euros for Enhanced Autopilot to have this, but now I can tell you guys whether it's justifiable or worth it to even get it, because the Autopark and other cars I've tried have been very good. I've tried it in the BMW 5 Series, and that Autopark worked pretty well. Apparently the Tesla ones don't work that well, but let's see, because you know, this has obviously taken a while to come with hardware for the cars without ultrasonic sensors. So let's see if they've made improvements. I will try a few scenarios, you know, and different types of parkings, and let's see if it's able to park itself. Yeah, so I'm gonna run the update, and then tomorrow we can go for a drive and we can review some of these things. Okay guys, so we finally updated. It actually isn't the next day. I didn't drive my car for like 2 days, so it's been a few days since I've been back in my car, and this new update is really cool. So as you can see the full car. You can swipe it around like this. One criticism about this, it's so minor and stupid, is that I can't see the underside of the car. You can only see the top, you can look at the roof, but you can't see underneath. I mean, I think that would be pretty cool. I have the 19-inch rims, so you can see that they've shown it here. I don't know if it's matched to your rim configuration. I'm pretty sure it is. So if you have the 18-inch and you have the new update, let us know in the comments below if yours are showing the 18s. Obviously you wouldn't know if the hubcaps, the aero covers are on or off, but if it does, that'll be even cooler. So please share if you have any information. One cool thing that they've also done, obviously with this full car view, is that you can see everything, but also they've laid it out so everything is in like these cards now, so it looks a lot more modern. It looks like floating cards. There's also a nice shadow under the car over here as well, and then your mini map is over here, which you can expand by just tapping it, and then it shows you the whole map. So basically you can always like drag it away like this, or drag it back. If you drag it back to the normal like this, it looks a lot more like the previous version. You can also do the exact same thing as it is when it's full screen and it's parked. And as you can see, this section here is now a floating card, which to me doesn't look as intuitive in terms of swiping left and right, but obviously they have these navigation buttons at the bottom here, so it makes it clearer that you can swipe. But same feature before, you can swipe down. Oh wow, okay, I didn't actually know that one. It actually, if you swipe down, it shows it with the currently playing song over there instead of like a additional card over here. So that's pretty cool. What they've also done is they've changed the horizontal bar showing you acceleration and regen braking from here down to something vertical on the side here, which I think makes a lot more sense. So the charging, this is a charging indicator. I'm 100% charged. I'm actually still plugged in. As you can see that it's full over here. When you start driving, I won't be able to do it now. The PRND is no longer a full width on the side. I will show you guys when we start driving, when we go somewhere. I think the summary looks a lot cleaner, a lot more refined, and basically for the most part, most of the other stuff is the same. One thing is they did rename some of the stuff. So I think this was steering and pedals, now it's dynamics, and they've changed steering weight from light standard sport to light standard heavy, which is a lot clearer because I guess not everyone knows that sport means heavier steering. And under the autopilot section, you can see that if you do strike out a coast 5 times due to improper use, I've actually been reset because I think I had 2 strikes available or something, but obviously because of the new rules, they've reset everyone. So if I get banned, I think it resets this count after a week, as I have mentioned earlier in the video. Over here is the same. The other thing to look at is under the locks, there's a hands-free trunks option. This is not enabled by default, so when you update to get the software update, it doesn't automatically enable this. So it says here it requires iPhone 11 Plus with nearby interactions for Tesla, which means anything newer, iPhone 11 and newer, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then obviously this year I think 16 is coming out. So anything newer than 11 you'll get it, which is actually pretty cool because 11 is quite old now actually. And also what's really cool is I'm actually able to go into full screen mode for the obstacle view. When we start driving, you'll see what I mean. I'm not sure if this is because of an enhanced autopilot or if it's available to everyone now, because I know this used to be only available for FSD owners. So let me know in the comments below if you only have regular autopilot, not enhanced, not FSD, if you're able to see full screen obstacle view. And there's some really cool details that they've included, so stick around for the video and you'll see what else they've improved. And I'm going to go unplug my car now and we're going to go for a short drive. Now that I've unplugged my car and put my seatbelt on, you can see that the tap to activate drive is showing here. There's now no longer like a separation when it's on full screen mode, but you can see that if I step on this, the drive and reverse swiper is no longer full screen here, and the indicator for regen is no longer horizontal, and it only ends over here, so it's not the full length either. So let's take a look. So basically everything's still the same. I do think that the Tesla vision has improved, because this has become quite clear and I've managed to see more detail than before. So as you can see with this full screen mode, it looks like there's a lot more detail as far as I remember compared to the previous one. Obviously with full screen I can see things much bigger, so maybe before I didn't notice a lot of the detail. But what you'll see that's interesting is if someone brakes in front of me, you can actually see their tail lights. It's not 100% accurate because that person didn't brake. I think it's just the redness of the tail lights showing up. Okay, he braked there. Did you see that actually lit up? And I don't know if this was the same before, but now it seems like SUVs and sedans are more distinguished, even though, I mean, that wasn't the SUV that I was picking up. But here's the SUV, kind of MPV kind of thing, and it's bigger than a regular car. Although they really should have made a smaller car for the smart car, because I mean, smart car is so small, right? So yeah, as you can see, the tail lights show up when the person brakes in front of me. What's interesting is if he indicates, it will also show the indicator, which is really cool. I think that's a really nice little detail that they added. I thought it indicated over there, but it actually didn't. So it's still a little bit buggy, but otherwise everything else is the same. I actually love having this view, especially because I kind of think that the map is distracting sometimes, especially when, you know, I'm just going on a drive and I'm not navigating anywhere. Obviously you don't have to look at the screen, but I think the plethora of colors, I think you can change it to be just the road instead of the satellite. I have it on satellite because of premium connectivity. I think that's kind of distracting. If you look here, it's like all over the place, always in your face, and now I can do this without having to change my map, so I can have best of both worlds. So let's go for a little bit longer of a drive, and then maybe let's find a parking space and see how well Autopark performs, because that is a new feature that I've been waiting for. Since I bought the car, I actually have Enhanced Autopilot because I wanted to use the Auto Navigate, but as I've discussed many times in my previous videos, the version in EU, in Europe, is different to the one in the US, because in the EU it is not allowed for a car to change lanes by itself without manual intervention. So Enhanced Autopilot doesn't auto lane change unless you help it a little bit. Fortunately, I didn't even get FSD because FSD is not even available besides in the US right now, so it's not like I can navigate on city streets anyways. But one of the perks of getting Enhanced Autopilot was Summon and Autopark. Summon still not available yet, but since they released hardware 4 and removed the ultrasonic sensors, they haven't actually replaced the Autopark functionality until now. So it has been a long time. I didn't wait too long because I got my car in November last year. Some people have had hardware 4 since before the new Model 3, so they've probably been waiting for over a year, which is quite crazy to wait if you had upgraded. What do you guys think? Do you think it was unfair that Tesla removed the removed the ultrasonic sensors and removed things like Autopark, even though people had paid for additional functionality? Let me know in the comments below and let's have a debate about that. Like, I think before, because it was small, you couldn't see as far, you know, like laterally as well as vertically, but now I can see how far this Tesla Vision can actually see. And I think Tesla Vision has really improved. You know, in the beginning, when we still had those lines for the parking distance or the obstacle distances when you at low speeds, I used to mock it and say how bad it was. I mean, it was bad back then, but now I'm quite happy to report that it's really good now. It's actually really accurate. And I think this is the thing about Tesla, right? With other cars, you know, you can report on the quality of something, but then it's like that for the whole life of the car. You know, you need to buy a new car or something, and it's rarely that you get much change from a software update. I think the tram is the bus, but anyways, whereas with Tesla, you actually basically get new features all the time. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier. Another feature that I found that's got nothing to do with software or updates is that this visor actually extends. like if you pull this out, it actually has an extension. So I didn't know about that either. And to me, that also was like an extra free feature because I didn't know about it. And a lot of even more expensive cars don't have this, you know. So the Model 3 really is feature packed in terms of practical features. I've yet to try the BYDs. I think the BYDs are, you know, with the new tariffs and stuff, I think similar price to the Tesla Model 3. And apparently they have even more features. But I think the Tesla Model 3 has everything that you need in a daily driver. And I've had this car for almost a year now, and it's been a fantastic car, to be honest. Like, for the value that you get, for what you're getting, you know, now that probably pre-owned models are arriving on the secondary market or in the pre-owned section on the Tesla website, maybe you can get one for even cheaper. And I think it's great value, to be honest, compared to most other cars at this size and quality range. Okay, so here's a parking. This is actually not a parking, but let's see if this picks it up. Okay, so there's a P there. I press P. Auto park ready. I press start. Let's see what the car does. There's a bus coming. So hopefully it doesn't take too long. So you can press the brake to pause the parking. But right now it's still doing its thing. Does it do a good job? Does it do a good job? Okay, so it's not blocking the bus. Getting in. Doesn't look like it's too close to the curb. It's going forward now. Okay, cool. Oh, that looks really close. I did not intervene. That is pretty good. I mean, this parking bay isn't that small, but it got in pretty good, no problems. It didn't shimmy too many times, so that's pretty cool. And at the end of the park, it actually just presses P or park, and you can get out of your car. So there's no need to, you know, like end it or anything like that, which is pretty cool. So this was parallel parking. That was the first time I did the parallel parking, because before I had done the alley-docking, not on video, to test it. That was actually in the Instagram story that I made. If you're not following me on Instagram, be sure to check me out on social media. Europe and the Tesla on Instagram and TikTok if you like those platforms. I sometimes post on there as well, some shorts. So you're welcome to follow me and also engage in some of the discussions that people have on there. If you have it in the normal mode, not the full screen mode, it looks pretty similar to before, except these floating cars, which I think look really cool. I mean, as you can see, there's a little bit of a haze, like a frosted glass feeling, so it makes it look much more modern. What Tesla did change before was the indicators. So before, the indicators used to be in round outlines in green, but now it's just, you know, a big thick arrow. They had done this before this update already. I actually noticed it a few months ago, and now there's no round thing. It's just a big green arrow. It is much more clear compared to the round one, because, you know, if you're not looking carefully, each round one could look the same, obviously depending on the positioning. But if I make this full screen and do left and right, it's still in the same position. What I do think would have been cool is if they applied some, you know, shadows to this preview of the blind spot next to around the window, just to make it look like it's a floating car, because right now it looks a bit flat, whereas over here you can see there's a bit of shadow over here. Okay, let's try if this left side parking works. Okay, so auto park ready. Let's see, it goes forward a bit, so it actually moves you forward enough so you can get in. Because sometimes I was like, you know, how is this thing getting in, because I am way too far back for it to alley dock properly. Okay, as you can see, it's parking by itself. I'm not touching the wheel or the pedals. And is it going to fall into, is it going to drop into the hole there? I'm a little bit concerned about that one, because, you know, there is a tree telling it to stop. But would it have stopped if it had no tree, and would it have just gone into the gaping hole? I'm not sure. Ooh. Okay, it's struggling a little bit. It's trying to get really close. It hasn't scraped any of my rims yet, as you have. Great. So as you guys probably know, I scrape my rims doing this manually in some really tight spots. So happy to report, in the 2 times I've done parallel parking now for you guys here, it has not gone anywhere close to the curb and given sufficient space on both sides. So another cool feature that one of you guys in the comments told me about was, I thought that the split air vents was only available on the Model Y, but this is actually not true. All the models have it, and you just use your fingers to split the vents, and now it actually channels multiple vents, so you can have 4 vents in front instead of just 2, like a regular car, I guess. But yeah, so you can split it with 2 fingers and join it back together again with 2 fingers. So I think with this new interface, it does feel a lot less distracting, even though there's a lot more going on. I think it's pretty cool, you know, to see all these things showing up. Some people ask, what's the point of showing this, you know, like on your car? Like on the small version, what's the point of having this always showing, or what's the point of having this showing? I think there really isn't any point, right? It's cool, but also, what other car has this? This is like a really unique feature to Tesla. I think they were one of the first ones to have this. I think some of the other cars now have it, but anytime someone gets in my car, this is the first thing they notice, that it shows like all the obstacles around and stuff. And I think it really showcases the technology of Tesla, and I think it really motivates other people and shows other people why this is a step above their car in terms of technology. Another thing to note is that when you have it on this full screen mode, the speed limit and the speed that Autopilot's going is showing over here instead of over here. So it rearranges itself when you go from full screen mode and split mode. You see all the cars are braking and all the lights are showing. Pretty cool, like pretty cool detail. I think all the cars kind of look the same. I mean, there's not much variation. What I would have liked is that I'm pretty sure this is pretty easy for Tesla to figure out in terms of computer vision. If it detects another Tesla, why doesn't it show a Tesla? Because it'll be cooler to see other Teslas on here as well, instead of just like the generic car model that they got off the internet or something. As some of you know, you can use Audible now. I don't use Audible, so it doesn't really make a difference to me. And there's a new climate setting. Oh, interesting. There's a whole dedicated icon for climate. Weird. Don't know if that was new or was already there. It's weird that these icons for all the other icons are like flat, and then this one's kind of skeuomorphic, like 3D. There's a bit of inconsistencies in the UI still, but overall I think it looks really cool, really modern. Looks like a nice smartphone. There's a massive truck coming in here. Oh, the indicator of the truck is on. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. The positioning kind of is right. I mean, they always have this extra tail light on top here, but the truck definitely didn't have that. I also don't like that these two semi-trucks look like they're the same size, but they definitely were not the same size. The one's like a mini truck compared to that in front of us. So this one actually was ahead of me, so it actually is moving forward. So you can't actually accelerate and make it faster, because I panicked a little bit just now when the ambulance was behind me, and I tried to accelerate and it just cancelled the whole operation. As you can see, it did Autopark Alley-Docking, no problem. There was no obstacles around, so it based it on the lines on the road. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like it's working well. So one question you might have with this new layout, full screen layout, is when you're navigating, does it show the map? And it does show in the corner, and it actually shows you your path in the map as well. And basically it shows the colors of the traffic in this little line here for the progress, as well as in the mini map, so you're still able to navigate, no problems. You won't lose any of the navigation capabilities using the full screen mode. Another visual impact and control change is that now with the wipers, you no longer scroll left to right with this wheel to increase the speed or you know, the setting. You actually use the left scroll wheel and scroll up and down, which makes it a lot more intuitive and easy to use. Press the wipers once and you can scroll up and down to change the speed. A lot of this stuff's pretty intuitive, because if you do it once on the screen, it shows you how to do it. So some of the changes you might not know about until you start interacting with the features of the car again. And what I do like is, what I've noticed is, obviously because this map was showing all the time before, just like this, whenever you open up a menu, it just pops up from the bottom. But because if you have it on the full screen, it actually has to almost drag the full screen to the side and then pop up from the bottom. So if you look carefully, it goes left and then pops up, which is, I think, a pretty cool detail. I'm going to stop here soon. I'm going to try to find a nice parking space where we can film. Okay, so you can see now that my car is fully locked. The wing mirrors are closed, so it's locked. And basically, I've enabled the hands-free trunk option. So all you need to do is, you need to walk up to the car. As you can see, my car is very dirty, but I haven't pressed anything, I haven't unlocked anything. The car's still locked. But if I walk up, stand behind the car like this, the car chimes 3 times and then it opens. It's just to warn you that it's about to open, and you just press it again to close. As you can see, the car stays locked, it doesn't open. So if you don't want it to open when you approach, when you're walking past for some reason, like for example it's beeping, you can just quickly walk away and it won't open. The car stays locked at all times. So if you want it to open, stand close to it, starts beeping 3 times and then opens. So if your hands are full of groceries, then you can just put them in without having to drop your groceries on the floor. As you can see, there's some really cool new features that got launched with the software updates. Even more for me because of the Enhanced Autopilot. Remember to subscribe and like the video if you do like it, to help my channel, and use any of my affiliate codes down below. That really helps me and supports the channel as well. If you guys like watching more of the content, I am going to be making another video dedicated to the Autopark. So I'm going to try, park in different scenarios, try different parking spaces, different lighting conditions, and let's see if upgrading from the regular Autopilot to Enhanced to get the Autopark makes it worth the upgrade, because it is not an insignificant amount to upgrade. And especially here in Europe, we don't get auto lane change with Enhanced Autopilot. So I've been an advocate of not getting it and telling you guys to use the referral code so that you can get free Enhanced Autopilot or FSD for 3 months. But that's gone away for now. Tesla did say that they were going to release it again. So let's see. I will always include my referral codes in the description of my videos, so always look there to see if there's any new discount or referral codes that you can use for any of the services that I've reviewed and endorsed. And as always, have a great day, and we'll see you again on our next trip. The last thing I wanted to mention was that how accurate this 3D display is. So if I open the window a little bit, you can see that it goes down a little bit based on the amount that I open the window by. And what's even more interesting is, I'm not sure if you guys have noticed this, but if you open the window fully, it goes all the way down. But once you open the door, it pops back up. So let's see if it shows that. Okay, so I'm going to open the door. And you can see it went up a little bit. And what's interesting is, if you guys didn't know about this, you can put this back down once the door's open by pressing down again, and you can see that it went away. So if I close the door, open, it goes up. If I press down again, it opens it even more. Sorry guys, it's just complaining that the headlights are manually set on because I needed the reflection of the lights on the garage door so that there's enough light for the video. But let me change it back to auto, and yeah. So there's little cool details, even though they're pretty gimmicky, pretty fun to be honest. Obviously this is not very accurate because I've got the Model 3 regular model, not performance, and it's showing the felt or the suede, I guess, the suede finishing there. So could have improved that. And the door's not fully open. Oh, I'm really into picking now. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time.